Well, console players, it's time to despair. Looks like having Survivors of the Void in your stocking this Christmas just isn't in the cards. The Risk of Rain 2 official Twitter just announced a couple days ago that they will be moving the release date of Survivors of the Void DLC on consoles from Q4 of 2022 to now an undisclosed date. They cited the fact that they announced earlier in May they were going to overhaul the console version of the game, but this will no longer be possible on the time frame that they had previously specified. So for all of you who have asked me repeatedly if and when the new console update was coming out, here's your answer: we don't know. Now there's two important things about this that I think need to be talked about real quick. One, I'm fairly certain it's not Hopu's fault that the console version is delayed. And two, this is most definitely a good thing that this happened anyway. On point number one, a while back, Hopu announced that they were going to be working with the publisher Gearbox. Not to be confused with Gearbox Software, which is what created the Borderlands franchise. Instead, this is their publishing arm, which has nothing to do with the actual development. I remember initially this was met with a lot of ire from the community, considering Gearbox had somewhat of a problematic past publishing games, We Happy Few being one that is most memorable. But thankfully, nothing really bad happened when they partnered up with Gearbox, and instead they would just help with the console versions of the game and general publishing duties. And because I was curious whether or not this was truly the case, I searched around the interwebs a bit and found the fact that they have partnered with a company called Play Everywhere, and they have handled all of the console releases so far. All you have to do is go to the Play Everywhere homepage, scroll down, and you can find that yes, I have found the imposter. So while yes, if you are a console player, it is a little bit frustrating to have the date pushed back a little bit, just keep in mind that molding and Hopu Games really isn't going to change anything. Use that energy to spam Chef in their comments. Now on to the second point as to why this is beneficial for console players. Keep in mind, every single time I've ever heard anything about console players, about the console version, it's about how utterly terrible it is and filled with bugs. Mobile turrets aren't even mobile turrets over there. They're literally stationary because they just for some reason can't move. Certain bosses just end up breaking and you can't even complete the teleporter because they're invincible and stuck or something. And various other things that just make the game literally unplayable. So I can only imagine what would happen if they added Survivors of the Void into the mix, which is a paid DLC and would have made people go insane if they would have had to pay like $15 just to have a bunch of bugs. Which I guess technically it'll have bugs regardless. Winky face. Back in old Dev Thoughts number 24, Hopu announced the fact that they will be releasing the expansion with a totally rebuilt console version from the ground up. Now, in the same dev notes, they do mention that the console version would be released in Q2, but let's don't talk about that right now. Which means they're going to be doing some heavy lifting over there on the console version. This remaking of the entire console version was supposed to make it so that the two versions could keep parity with each other and bugs would no longer be console specific, at least ideally. Basically, they're doing a lot of heavy lifting right now so that in the future, the console version won't have to wait 2 to 3 months to even a year for their own version of the update, and then also have that update plagued with game-breaking bugs, instead of the normal run-destroying bugs. So in other words, this sucks and it's not fun to wait, but ideally this should be the last time this ever happens. So keep your head up, console players. Hopu has your best interests in mind. I mainly made this because I haven't seen a video about it from Hopu or anyone else, just the Twitter posts, and I wanted to kind of let the console players down as easily as I could. And you know what, console players, if you're out there, we got hours of Survivors of the Void content, hey, in the backlog. Just check out some of the other videos on the channel, get a controller in your hand and close your eyes, and it's almost like you're playing the DLC yourself. Anyways, this is SwagMoney69 signing out.